Really a pretty easy deal. We classify triangles by their angles and their sides. By their angles, they are either acute right or they are obtuse. Now, what's an acute triangle?
Under 90 degrees.
We have to be more specific. It's actually the only one where all the angles are less than what? What makes something a right triangle? One of the, and I'm going to use this, angles are what? Equal to what? 90 degrees. That's what makes something a what? Right triangle. What makes a triangle obtuse? One of the angles are or is greater than what? Now, another way we actually classify triangles by their angles, it's something you only hear probably in this section, but from this, because it's the same thing as an equilateral, is you will hear this word. Equiangular. And what it means, all angles are what? What do you think? Equal or congruent. Their measures are equal. Equiangular, though, what type of, see, the reason I say to keep this separate is because one of these are actually equiangular. Which one, do you know? Acute. They're 60, 60, and 60. That's the only way you can have a triangle where all the angles are the same. And you'll learn why when we do section 4.2 in just a second. Now, when we classify them as far as the sides, they are either scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. And actually, you find that equilaterals are also isosceles. It's just more specific to call them an equilateral. Scalene triangle, do you know what makes it scalene? No. How do we classify them? We're classifying these by the what? Cody, you don't want me to take that away, do you? Put it away. None of the sides, out of your lap, please, in the bag. None of the sides are congruent. Isosceles. Anybody know what that is? At least two of these sides are congruent. Equilateral. All of the sides are congruent. That is how we classify triangles. Get that finished up. And that is pretty much your notes for this section, except for the examples we're going to do from the practice workbooks. So this isn't, you can see why it'd be a good section to do 2 in a row. There's a chance I won't be here tomorrow. If I can get in to see my doctor or something, I probably won't be. So, I wanted to go over both of them. Everybody open your workbooks, page 43. This is where we're going to do our examples. Guys, this stuff is pretty easy. Would you agree? All we got to do, let's look at number 1. Are all the angles less than 90 degrees? So we know this is acute. However, if you look in your directions, they want you to tell whether it's acute, equal angular, obtuse, or right. Equal angular and acute can be the same, they can be both of these, right? It can never be equal angular right or equal angular obtuse, but it can be equal angular acute. Is this one equal angular as well? So that's an acute equal angular. What you'll find though from this point on is any equal angular triangle is also equilateral. The sides have to be congruent too. So from this point on, you don't hear the word equal angular very much. You just call it an equilateral triangle. And that in turn tells you that all the angles are what? Congruent as well. Okay? Right here, are all the angles less than 90 degrees?
No.
Or is there an angle equal to 90 degrees?
No.
Is there an angle greater than 90 degrees?
Yes.
See, if you guys will just go through and ask yourself questions like that, and then how do you know to ask those questions? Because I know the definitions of what each one is, correct? It's very easy. Question on that?
I still understand why.
Huh?
I just understand why all sides, all the angles have to be acute for a triangle to be acute.
I'll tell you here in the next section, I promise. I'm going to leave some suspense for that. It's because how the angles have to relate to each other inside a triangle for it to be a triangle. Now, number 3, are all the angles less than 90? So it's not acute. Is there an angle equal to 90?
Yes.
So what is it?
Right.
Number 4, are all the angles less than 90?
Or no.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Oh.
Is it equilateral angular though? No, it is not. Okay? Let's jump down to number 7 since we're doing 2 sections today. What I am going to do is zoom in on this picture, and we will talk about each one separately. Number 7 we're talking about, they want us to classify each triangle as equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. And here we're talking about triangle A to B to E. So you need to just shut everything else out of your mind, correct? I don't know why everyone would be looking down at their papers so much now. Why aren't you looking up here? I mean, it's about almost a 3-foot long triangle there. Well, maybe not 3, about 2 feet long. Plenty big to see. One eye's up here. What type of triangle is this?
A right.
It's a right triangle, but how do they want me to classify it? By its?
Sides.
Okay, so they tell me that this side's congruent to something, one that's 8. So I know this side is 8, right? So the sides of this triangle are 8. 9, and what? 8 square roots of 2. If you put 8 times, that means 8 times square root of 2. You put that into your calculator, you're going to get a number bigger than 8. It's not 8. So what type of triangle is this with regards to its sides? None of the sides are equal, so therefore it must be scalene. So on number 7, what are you going to write? I'll erase my marks here so we can kind of highlight the next one. Number 8 is triangle what? Someone tell me. So E to D to B, what would I need to finish that triangle with? That line right there, right? Okay, this side's 8, this one's 8 square roots 2. What's this side?
8, because it's congruent to.
Yeah, they say it's congruent to this one, so it's 8 also. What type of triangle with regards to its sides do I have here? Isosceles. So over here on this, that's because you had 2 sides congruent, so I should write. I don't think it's too hard to write out all that stuff there. Let's erase this again and let's look at number 9. Triangle EBC. So E to B to C. That's the triangle we're talking to. Ignore all the other lines. So this is 8. This one's what? 8. This is 8. But what is this whole side now?
16.
So I've got sides of 8 square roots of 2, 16, and 8. What type of triangle is it?
Obtuse, or, scalene.
I've heard isosceles, scalene, and obtuse. One of those is right.
Scalene.
It's scalene. The reason why did he get thrown with isosceles? And it's a good mistake. I'm glad you made the mistake so I can explain it. He just saw this 8 and this 8, but really you have to kind of erase all that out of your mind, and even that and that, once you put that there and realize we've got a triangle of what? 16, 8, and 8 square roots of 2. So none of the sides are equal, correct? So it is scalene. Erase one more time. Triangle DBC. D to B to C. All the sides are congruent there, aren't they? So, number 10 is what? Okay?